Okay, let's go through and see what we have here. I think I remember this one.
All right, I have to share this. My sister Dana posted this earlier, and I have always kind of prided myself that I survived this whole situation with Darlie and her conviction, her wrongful conviction, and all of that without
Let me.
having any long lasting effects. I might have been wrong.
Well, I would hope that you were wrong because you just said that you made it through this situation with Darlie with no long lasting effects. Let that sit in there for a second. The situation with Darlie with no long lasting effects. And you were a teenager, who played a lot with her little nephews, Devin and Damon. Remember them? That's you filming them, I believe, a couple different times. Out in the front yard and then at a amusement type place. You were filming them. It sounded like your voice. But you made it through that without any long lasting effects. So you weren't traumatized by an intruder coming in and killing your nephews? Or did I hear that wrong?
And I have always kind of prided myself that I survived this whole situation with Darlie and her conviction, her wrongful conviction, and all of that without having.
I guess Devin and Damon are all of that. And she's taking pride in herself that Devin and Damon's deaths didn't have a long lasting effect on her. This is what she's saying, so you'd be mad at me or what, but that's what she's saying. This is why we got to watch what we say if we're supporting Darlie Routier. Sometimes, from off the lips there, the heart is.
Any long lasting effects. I might have been wrong. So we all have traumas that we go through, everybody, and not everybody's is nearly as famous or well known as mine, considering mine was international news. But everybody has traumas, and we all deal with them differently. And when Dana posted this, I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then I started reading some of these descriptions that go along with complex PTSD. And I was like, ugh, maybe that is what I have. Let's look at it. All right. It's interesting because multiple of these fit me. Experiencing ongoing physical anxiety symptoms, aka auto stress check. Never really had anxiety beforehand, but as an adult, I have anxiety, and I think it comes from worrying about things that you can't control.
Well, as an adult, you're actually naturally going to have a little more anxiety because you have more responsibilities. You have more responsibilities to worry about, and it makes you anxious. So,
Living in a state of hypervigilance. Check. I am constantly worried about my children. I'm constantly worried about what's going on around them, about what's going around us, about whether we are healthy. There's a plethora of things that I'm constantly worrying about.
that's good. That's called being a mom. That's good. That's what you should be worried about.
Because of what has happened to my family.
Well, a minute ago, you said that you didn't have any long lasting trauma. Let's see.
Living in a state of hypervigilance definitely fits me. Experiencing intense or rapidly changing emotions. I don't think that I have rapidly changing emotions. I've never noticed rapidly changing emotions. Difficulty in developing and maintaining relationships. I really don't have an issue with that. I actually think I have the opposite of that and become overly attached to people, maybe, because I genuinely love everybody so much.
That explains a lot. But I don't want to be a wise ass, though. But if I was just going on what Mr. Prater was telling me about Mrs. Sullivan, I did wonder. You know, I did wonder. It's like, why didn't she catch onto that? And now I know that it's not true. So
I just think that there needs to be more love in the world. So that's probably why I am overly attached to people, maybe. Feeling as though you are inherently flawed or damaged. I don't feel like I am personally inherently flawed or damaged, but I do understand what this feels like. Specifically, early on in Darlie's situation, when all this was going on, I remember thinking about how nobody could understand.
I wonder if it's worse to her or their other family members if the emotional stuff that they feel, is it worse for them because Devin and Damon are gone? Or is it worse for them because Darlie's locked up? I mean, I'm trying to read what she's saying here, and it seems like the whole thing with Darlie was devastating.
Because, to me, nobody could possibly have ever been in my shoes. I now know that a lot of people have been in my shoes, but anyways. Feeling as though you're completely different from other people. Yes. Mostly because I have seen so much.
You should feel that you're completely different from other people because you are. Everyone is.
And have been exposed to so much. As an adult, I've seen things that I did not realize as a child that was going on. Some of the cruelty stuff that happened to our family, some of the things that people said, I just can't even imagine ever saying that kind of stuff to a live person.
But you have. You can't imagine it, but you have, and we've got proof of that. No matter how mad you get, you have. You can't imagine it, but you have done it, and worse.
Having an unclear sense of identity. This fits for me because I have always been
Darlie's baby sister. That's your identity now. That's your YouTube spiel. I mean, that's your TikTok spiel. That's your social media spiel. And even on YouTube, because you announce yourself as Darlie's baby sister. That's your identity. You repeat it over and over and over again. You're not Danelle, the nurse mom. You're Darlie's baby sister.
Kind of proud of who I am because a lot happened to me, and I'm still a nice person. I still function in society and contribute and volunteer and help other people and provide for my family and all of those things. So
she is a good person. I'm not going to define everything about Danelle's life and who she is on how she debates this case. I'm not doing that. Now, if she come out here and tells the truth, it would be different. But I think outside of the case, we're looking at a productive member of society that's got a lot to offer to society. I think she does. But until she comes out and gets on this situation and lies and she becomes nasty, are you saying you become not Danelle when you're debating this case? That's not you?
I don't think that it's an unclear sense of my identity, but it does kind of get tricky sometimes. Okay. Finding it difficult to trust others. I do have difficulty trusting other people, but I still trust. Like, I have that voice in my head saying, you shouldn't trust them.
If you hear that voice, run with it. Check it out. Check it out, because I'm sure that you had signs with Rich. And, you know, honestly, from me to you, I am sorry that he did this to you guys' family. I am. It's not, you don't, I mean, yeah, you deserve some ridicule and some apples being thrown and some, you know, words, but not that. I know it broke your guys' heart when you found out that he had been lying to you. I know it did, especially your mother. Uh, I often wonder how Darlie feels about it. I can see why you don't trust anybody. And you shouldn't if you're in your position. Nobody. Nobody.
But like, I trust everybody, unfortunately. To a fault, probably. Experiencing fear of abandonment. I don't know if this is true for me or not. I definitely don't want to be alone for an extended amount of time. Like, I just don't like to be alone. I like to be with people in general. Which is funny because I work from home and I'm alone 90% of the day. Blah. Problems with assertiveness, asking for help, and saying no. This is a big one for me. I don't like to step on toes, and if somebody asks me for help, it is really hard for me to say no. That has been a struggle my entire life because I know
That's a very good struggle then. You go with that.
what it feels like to not have help and to need help. And so I will jump in even if people don't ask me for help and I see that they need help. I will jump in and help. I can't help it. I just can't help it. Problems with memory and concentration, yes. But I also might have some ADHD in there as well. So who knows which came first, the PTSD or the ADHD. Let's see. Sleep disturbance. I also learned I do have issues with sleep, but I worked night shift for a good while, so that kind of messes up your sleep routine. But also, I have a genetic predisposition to having insomnia. I did the 23andMe DNA study.
That's interesting that you're speaking about pre-genetic dispositions. Because it seemed like Darlie didn't have any trouble sleeping at all. And until it came to Drake moving around and making noise in his crib, she didn't have any trouble sleeping at all. As a matter of fact, one would say she sleeps like a baby. Look at what she slept through.
And apparently that's a thing. I didn't know, but now it's explained a little bit better. Addiction problems. I do not have any specific vices. I've never really had an issue with alcohol or tobacco. I do, however, though, think that maybe I could, like, comfort eating is absolutely a thing. So that could be part of it. Impulsive and or risk-taking behaviors. I can be impulsive at times, but it's usually more.
No. No way. Not you.
Impulsive, like buying things at the grocery store. Do I need that? No, but I'm going to buy it anyways. But not like, I am not a risk taker, typically speaking. And then experiencing
Sure you are. Sure you're a risk taker. It's a big, huge risk for you to come out here and explain this case the way that you do and expect not to catch any kind of backlash or retort from it. That's a risk. I really think you guys would probably do better off just sticking with the family, behind the family, leaving social media alone, getting this shit done. You don't need to be telling all these people out here how innocent she is, even if they think she's innocent. What good is that going to do? Because if you come out here with bullshit, it gets debunked, and you make her look not innocent. Why don't you guys just do it behind the scenes? Stay off social media and don't talk about it, don't respond to it, and show us when you get her out.
Derealizations and or depersonalizations. Nah. Problems with sensory processing. Yes, that is an issue for me.
No way.
Eating problems. Sometimes I overeat. I think a lot of Americans do, but it's because it tastes good. And who doesn't like that feeling of having a full belly? It's a comfort thing for me, for sure.
She probably weighs all of 130 pounds. She doesn't look like somebody that eats too much. But when she was on ABC, she had swelled up a little bit there. She's not big. She looks little.
Struggling with parenting. I've never struggled with parenting per se. I am maybe a little bit over involved or too involved in my kids' lives. I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know. If it's going to be one way or the other, it's going to be that way. I'm way more involved in my kids' life. And then experiencing hallucinations, self-harm, and or suicidal ideations. I've never had either of those, but several of these at the top definitely fit my bill. So I just thought I'd share this because I thought it was really interesting. Complex PTSD is a real thing. I've never been personally diagnosed. I've never seen or sought out any counseling because of my trauma with what happened with my nephews and Darlie being arrested.
Yeah. She finally said it. Finally. But she said she made it through it.
And wrongfully convicted and all that. But I had a really good family support system, my bill. So I just thought I'd share this because I thought it was really interesting. Complex PTSD is a real thing. I've never been personally diagnosed. I've never seen or sought out any counseling because of my trauma with what happened with my nephews and Darlie being arrested and wrongfully convicted and all that. But I had a really good family support system. So I think we did pretty well, all things considered. And when Darlie comes home, we can hash it out together and discuss everybody's versions of PTSD, because I'm sure Darlie has significant PTSD. I know Dana has PTSD. I'm sure my mom has PTSD. It's the trauma.
Well, why did they say that Darlie did not have it? Just a case of the baby blues.
All right. I thought I would share this. I'm going to hide myself so that y'all can see it. If you need to screen.
Now, the bottom line is that any American, anybody, can go in to seek therapy, right? And you will leave out of there with a diagnosis eventually. There's no doctor going to say, you have nothing. There's no mental health doctor anywhere that's going to take anybody and say, you have nothing. You're perfect. Everybody has something. And there is a market on it. There's a market on it depending on it. But as far as these things she's putting down here, anxiety, auto stress, me. Hypervigilance, doing too much, yeah, me. Rapidly changing emotions, yeah, me. I have no problem with feeling or expressing how I feel, that's for sure. Difficulties in developing and maintaining relationships, sometimes, because I'm a little bit aggressive. Feeling as though you're inherently flawed or damaged, no. Feeling as though you're completely different than other people, yes, because I am. Having an unclear sense of identity, no. I'm a loudmouth redneck motherfucker named Brian. I know exactly who I am. What do you? I don't trust, but that's a good thing. You can't be too trusting. Fear of abandonment? Nope. Problems with assertiveness, asking for help, getting help? No, I don't have any of that. Sleep disturbances, addiction, blah blah blah. I can't see the other story. But anybody, you can go through this list right here, and anybody will have one or more of these. And then doc will say, okay, well, let me diagnose you with this. That's what they're going to do. They're going to diagnose. They need to make money. They need you to come back. They need to make money for the pharmaceuticals as well. Very interesting.